This video is going to be a bit more personalized. Anyhow, I was having a conversation with my twin little sister. I call her my little sister because I'm older by a minute. Anyhow, I was having a conversation with my twin sister and my brother-in-law. And anyhow, at the time of this recording, we were talking about my disability and stuff. Well, we were talking about how we've been catching up on each other, like how our week was going, how's work, and things like that. Anyhow, during our conversation, one of the things that they asked was, how's my strength? How's my SMA been? Because they know how my disability is and how my strength can be like ups and downs. I have good and bad days. Anyhow, they were asking me about my disability. Anyhow, in the conversation, at the time of when they asked, I'm still like this now at the time of this recording, but not so bad. Anyhow, at the time when they asked me about how my disability was, I was struggling like quite a bit. A lot where for me, I call it more of like a patience game. And I'll explain why in a second. Anyhow, I was struggling brushing my teeth. I was struggling feeding myself. I was struggling picking up my drinks. I was basically struggling with my overall daily routine. And a lot of the things that, like for example, my phone would be really heavy. And anyhow, I was struggling quite a bit. And my twin sister would say, well, how come you don't ask mom to help you with that, like she wouldn't mind. And my mom and family, I'm very fortunate where they do, if I ever ask, I know that they will. And they even too do ask like, hey, do you need help? Or sometimes they'll see me struggling and they will try to help. But me being me, I like to say, no, it's okay. Like I got it, and I'll explain why in a second. She says, my twin sister, she says something along the lines of pretty much like, don't be stubborn, because she knows like I'm struggling. And within the conversation, and I'll explain how this video can bring some form of value to you, whether you have a disability or not, is I says, I know, or this is how I feel. And I feel that if I stop doing, or if I stop trying to continue to do my daily things, like brush my teeth, picking up, feeding myself, picking up my drinks, my phone, whatever it is that I do with my daily routine, if I basically go the easier route, which is, hey mom, can you help me do this? Hey mom, can you help me do that? I know that eventually, because I'm no longer trying, I don't know why I have my hand here. I know that if I am no longer really trying as much, or really trying to, just try, I know that I will decline a lot faster than how I may be declining now. And the reason why is because you're not moving as much, Like when you brush your teeth, what happens? You're moving your hand. When you eat, what happens? You're moving your hand. Operating on your phone, you're moving your hand. If I was like, hey mom, can you help me? Can you help me pick up my drink? Sometimes she will have to. I will mention that too. But a lot of the times I kind of like to persevere through it in a sense, or be stubborn about it in a sense. I'll figure it out, kind of mentality. And anyhow, during our conversation, my brother-in-law, he says, well, he said, first off, let me backtrack and continue where I was going with this, is I know that if I stop trying, I know eventually I will decline a lot faster. I know I am declining a little bit. However, I do see some progress too. So it's like a roller coaster. It's ups and downs. I have really good days. I have some really bad days. And two, at the time of when they were asking me how my strength was, I was feeling under the weather. That plays a factor as to why I'm feeling fatigued. Two, I was struggling. Or not struggling. I wasn't sleeping as much. I know that plays a factor with my strength as well. And third, my overall disability. And it definitely plays a huge factor. Anyhow, I know that if I stop trying, I know that I am going to decline a lot faster at a more rapid rate than I am currently. I know that the reason why I like to try and the reason why I like to struggle now is because, again, if I stop trying today, tomorrow I might not have that opportunity or the same opportunity today to try tomorrow. And I wanted to make this video. I think it can bring value to someone, whether they have a disability or not. That if you are struggling, if you're going through some form of pressure, if you're going through something challenging, something difficult, something troubling, maybe something's really testing your patience. My disability tests my patience a lot. Don't stop trying, because it is when you try is how you learn a lot about yourself. You discover more about yourself. And to say the least, if you stop trying, you basically quit. If you quit, if you think what's hard now, if you think what's troubling now, if you think what's challenging now, it's not going to be able to compare to what's going to be hard, what's going to be troubling, what's going to be challenging, what's going to be hard tomorrow, because you quit trying. What I'm trying to say here is that when you are in the midst of going through something really difficult, something challenging, again, something hard, try. And when you try, don't just, I have a rag right here, so probably a silly example, but let's just say this was something heavier, If you quit trying, like to pick up this towel, right? Or again, it's a silly example. I don't have something heavy around me. But anyhow, if I stop trying to pick this up, I might not have it. If I stop trying to pick this up today, I might not have the same opportunity to pick it up tomorrow. The whole purpose of trying today is we often are surrounded by so many blessings today that we take for granted until it is either we often take so many things for granted until one, it is either being close to being taken away from us, or two, it does get taken from us. And I wanted to mention again, I want to hear that if you have the ability to try today, continue to try. During the conversation, I says, if I'm not going to be able to brush my teeth, if I'm not going to be able to feed myself, if I'm not going to be able to pick up my drink or do whatever else that I need to do, it's going to be because I literally cannot do it. Not because I have a slight chance of me being able to do it, but you know what? I'm just going to take the easy route, the much more simpler route. Say, hey, can you help me brush my teeth? Hey, can you help me do this? Hey, can you help me do that? Try your best, because I promise you, I'm talking from experience, that if you quit trying today, you surely, if you think, let me phrase that. If you quit trying today, what you think is hard now cannot compare to what's going to be difficult tomorrow. Try while you still can, while you still have that opportunity. Don't wait for it to be too late. To put in perspective why I have this mindset is I have experienced so many things within my life where I was able to do stuff yesterday, wake up today, and I'm not able to do the same thing. To put it in perspective, I used to be able to be in a manual wheelchair, being able to roll myself with both my hands, to now being in a power wheelchair, to having my only right hand to help me basically get around with my daily living. Anyhow, during the conversation, my brother-in-law, I wanted to mention too, is he says, you know what they call that? And I said, what? He says, grow through what you go through. And when he mentioned that, I just thought this would potentially be a good video. It's more personalized. I hope this video brings some form of value to you. I wanted to mention too that, again, I mentioned this in just about almost every video now, is through reflection, I am always trying to find ways to improve. I'm always trying to find these little gaps that, these little potholes I can fill in, so I can continue to learn and have a much more smoother process down the road. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to find ways to grow. I also wanted to mention too, is I noticed that when I edit these videos, when I upload these videos, I noticed that when I rewatch the video, I noticed that sometimes my eye doesn't look like I'm staring into the lens. And I wanted to mention it because I cannot see the lens on my camera, and I use my front-facing camera because it's much easier for me to press record and stop. Anyhow, if you can remember anything from this video, I want you to remember this. Grow through what you go through. Much love.